Good evening. On the world news tonight, first the headlines. Suspend planned 2-day warning strike. FG begs Labour. Sanwo-Olu takes first ride as Lagos Blue Rail begins operations. Ogun LG boss regains freedom from DSS custody. Stop posting corps members to Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara. And on sports, I fear no man. Adesanya warns Strickland. The news shortly. The federal government has appealed to the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress to shelve its planned 2-day warning strike, slated to commence on Tuesday. The appeal was made on Monday by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, in Abuja. He identified the reverse of the gains already made by FG, among others, as a reason for the appeal, while promising to attend to the contending issues raised by the NLC holistically if given some time to settle into the office. Lalong, it has become pertinent to appeal to the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, to suspend its intended 2-day warning strike, as such action would be detrimental to the gains already being recorded on our course to securing a greater future for Nigerian workers and citizens at large. Furthermore, I would request that the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress gives this government some time to settle and address the issues on the ground holistically. It should be realized that the cabinet of this administration was only recently sworn in by Mr. President, and all cabinet members have hit the ground running by receiving briefings from their MDAs. Therefore, the issues raised by the leadership of the NLC are some issues that I and the Honorable Minister of State for Labour and Employment are being briefed upon. In the few weeks to come, we intend to address them holistically. Consequently, I use this opportunity to reassure Nigerian workers that this government would never take them for granted, nor fail to appreciate their support and understanding. We shall continue to pursue policies aimed at massive employment generation in all sectors of the economy, as well as look into immediate challenges that have emerged from the policies of the government. We cannot do this in an atmosphere devoid of industrial peace, he added. Meanwhile, the minister noted that although the ministry was yet to get a notification of the planned strike as required by law from the NLC, the ministry would be having a meeting with the labor leaders by 3 p.m. today with a view to stopping the planned strike. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu became one of the first passengers to embark on the journey aboard the newly launched Lagos Blue Line rail system on Monday. The governor boarded the train from the Marina Terminal en route Mile 2. Information reports that the Managing Director, Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Mrs. Abimbola Akinjo, announced that on Thursday that the Lagos Blue Line Rail would commence commercial operations on Monday, September 4. Akinjo added that Governor Sanwo-Olu will be the first passenger during the inaugural ride on the train. Below are the pictures showing through the information concerning Lagos State Governor while being the first passenger on the rail. The suspended chairman of Ijebu East local government area of Ogun State, Honorable Wale Adedayo, detained since last Friday by the Department of State Services. The suspended chairman of Ijebu East local government area of Ogun State, Honorable Wale Adedayo, detained since last Friday by the Department of State Security Services, has regained his freedom. Adedayo, who spoke with correspondents in Abeokuta shortly after he was released, disclosed that he was summoned by the DSS based on a petition written against him that he was making inciting comments that could jeopardize public peace. The suspended LG boss, however, said he had told the DSS that he had never uttered any inciting comments other than his allegation of local governments getting zero allocation from the state government in the last 2 years. He said he remained unshaken over his travails so far and that he would definitely challenge what he called his illegal suspension from office last week Thursday. Adedayo disclosed that the letter written to report Governor Dapo'S to the former governor of the state, Chief Segun Oshoba, was with the support of the chairman in the state, but he was surprised that they could all back out of the struggle, which is to primarily ensure good governance at the grassroots. Recall that the suspended chairman had written a letter to former governor in the state, Oshoba, alleging that the state governor, Dapo'S, had hijacked public funds while also forwarding the petition to the anti-graft agencies over same allegations. The Joint Account and Allocation Committee in the state saddled with the responsibility of managing the local government federal allocations, has, however, dismissed the allegation, affirming that every fund approved by the committee passed through the various local council accounts. A former chairman of the Committee on Prosecution of Bandit-Related Offenses, Sani Shinkaifi, says the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) should stop posting corps members to some states bedeviled by bandit attack. Shinkaifi's recommendation comes over 2 weeks after armed bandits abducted 8 NYSC members along a highway in Zamfara State, later demanding 4 million naira for at least one of the victims. I'm calling on the leadership of the NYSC to stop posting youth corps members to Sokoto, Kebbi, even Zamfara. The one-time All Progressive Congress APC national chairmanship aspirant said Monday during an appearance on an interview. Shinkaifi criticized Governor Dawda Lawal's refusal to engage in a peace dialogue with repentant bandits, arguing that the stance taken by the administration of Lawal's predecessor, Bello Mutawalli, a dialogue with the terrorists was beneficial to securing the release of abductees in Zamfara. If this type of situation happens, we used to reach out to these repented bandits, and these repented bandits would work with security agencies to either rescue them victims or collect them from their captors without paying any dime, he said. But this administration, I'm telling you, many people were killed, many people were kidnapped. More than 2,000 people were killed and kidnapped. No place in the 14 local governments of Zamfara State is safe. Lawal, a member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP member, emerged victorious in the March 18 governorship election, defeating Mutawalli, who was running for his second term. Mutawalli was recently sworn in by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the Minister of State for Defense. Going on to the next story from the NYC quarters. A clearly frustrated Emmanuel Ete, the father of a corps member kidnapped in Zamfara State, has accused security agencies and the National Youth Service Corps (NYC) leadership for showing no concern. His daughter was one of 8 graduates abducted while en route from Uyo, Akwa Ibom State to their NYC orientation camp in Sokoto on August 19, when suspected gunmen kidnapped them. 3 other passengers on the Akwa Ibom Transport Company (AKTC) bus they were traveling in escaped. In a live appearance, Ete described the over 2-week-long ordeal as devastating, given the lack of communication on the part of the authorities. If it is very devastating because, as a parent, I am very disappointed by the government. No one has been talking about it or asking questions since the incident happened, she said. Security agencies are not caring, NYSC leadership shows no concern, and everyone behaves as if nothing happened. Every activity is going on, and I keep on asking, is this the type of government we want for our country? Is it the type of security we can feel safer with? NYSC invited these children out of their homes to Sokoto. The distraught father said he expected the Director General of NYSC to demonstrate some level of commitment, arguing that they had failed to live up to expectations. Ete added that nobody cared to reach out to the parents or discuss the situation. According to him, after the incident, everyone went away with no communication or sight of the children as if nothing happened. We are expecting the government to act, but nobody seems to act or address the nation or the parents on what happened. What the government is likely to do or what they are doing is to free these children. That is the state we find ourselves in now. Calling for government intervention, he said, everyone is boiling. People are asking questions. Moving on to the next story. 6 people were confirmed dead in a multiple road accident that occurred in Imesile, Osun State, as 2 trucks collided on Saturday. The trucks involved in the crash, which occurred around 9:44 p.m., were said to be traveling in opposite directions on Imesile Hill when one of them experienced brake failure. Having lost control of the truck, the driver, it was also gathered, rammed into another truck coming from the opposite direction, leading to the death of the deceased. The accident was said to have involved 17 passengers. Some volunteers from the community that joined policemen at the scene recovered 5 of the deceased passengers, and their remains were reportedly moved to the Osun State University Teaching Hospital in Osogbo. But the remains of 6 deceased, who were strapped on one of the affected trucks, were removed by the officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps. The Public Education Officer, Osun State Sector of the FRSC, Agnes Ogun, who confirmed the incident on Sunday, blamed it on brake failure. She said the accident was multiple in nature. The weather condition was cloudy and it occurred on the hilly part of the Imesile Road. The problem caused is brake failure, which led to the loss of control. 6 male adults were killed, and out of 17 people involved, 11 male adults left were not injured. Victims' properties were taken by the police to their station in Imesile. 5 dead victims were taken to the Osun Teaching Hospital, Osogbo, by the MPL in Imesile before the arrival of the FRSC team. 1 dead male was trapped under the truck, and FRSC team employed the extricating machine to remove the trapped body from the under of the vehicle. Moving on to the next story. A man identified simply as Amzat has cried out after suspected soldiers allegedly invaded his block factory located at Bankole Estate, Magboro, in the Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State, and seized his Toyota RAV4 vehicle. Amzat, who spoke on Saturday, said the soldiers numbering up to 5 in a pick-up van were looking for his younger brother, Suleiman, who is an Islamic cleric. He noted that the matter began after he introduced a yet-to-be-identified suspected Yahoo boy, who is a brother to his girlfriend, Suleiman, for special prayers. He said after the prayer was successful, his girlfriend's brother wanted more special prayers, and Suleiman introduced him to another yet-to-be-identified Islamic cleric in the Agege area of Lagos State. Amzat said after my brother introduced him to another Afar for special prayer, maybe he was duped or he didn't get the expected returns for payment. I don't know. My brother also said he did not know what transpired between the boy and the Afar. On Tuesday, I was called by someone that some people were at my block factory and they wanted to buy blocks, so I rushed down, says the story. When I looked into their car, I saw the guy I introduced to my brother and his sister, who was a friend. Then the soldiers said I should follow them. Then the issue erupted. Moving on to the next story. Ogun State Police Command on Monday morning said the missing 200-level student of Animal Breeding and Genetics, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Solomon Destiny, has been found and is currently receiving medical attention at an undisclosed hospital. The spokesperson for the State Police Command, SP Omolola Odutola, confirmed this in a text message sent to journalists. It read, "Thank you, esteemed members of the press. Your swift and proactive actions came to bear, and I'm very grateful for the widespread. I'm happy to announce before you all that our beloved 200-level student has been found and is alive but currently receiving treatment. Recall that the leadership of the Student Union Government of the university had raised the alarm, saying that Solomon was last seen at Ogbaja village around the Oluwo Oshele axis of Abeokuta and had solicited useful information that could help to locate him. Meanwhile, the head Directorate of Public Relations, FUNAP, Mr. Kola Dapo'S, while confirming the incident, said, yes, our student is missing and our university management has swung into action by reporting the development to relevant security agencies. We want to assure the parents or guardians of our student that is missing, through his colleagues and the public in general, that the university and security agencies are doing the needful to find him and bring him back to his parents and colleagues safely." Adekoju, while confirming the sharing news to correspondents, said, "Information is still right now. I will get back later. Thank you," says the ending part of the story. Going to the foreign news within Africa. Gabon's coup leader, General Brice Oligui Nguema, vowed after being sworn in as interim president on Monday to restore civilian rule through free, transparent, and credible elections after a transition and amnesty prisoners of conscience. In a speech after taking the oath of office, Nguema said the elections would be the stepping stone to handing power back to the civilians, although he did not give a timeline. Nguema said he was seeking the participation of all Gabon's core groups to draft a new constitution, which will be adopted by referendum. He also said he will be instructing the future government to consider ways of amnestying prisoners of conscience and facilitating the return of all exiles from abroad. Nguema 48, who is the head of the elite Republican Guard, led a coup that brought the curtain down on 55 years of dynastic rule by President Ali Bongo Ondimba and his father Umar, who died in 2009. Bongo's ouster came just moments after he had been proclaimed victor in presidential elections last month, a result branded a fraud by the opposition. The military had been prompted by a desire to avoid bloodshed following an electoral process that was obviously loaded, he said. We are greatly surprised to hear certain international organizations condemn the act taken by our soldiers who were simply upholding their oath to the flag to save their country at the risk of their lives, he said. 5 other countries in Africa, Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Niger, have undergone coup in the last 3 years, although their circumstances are different from Gabon. Lastly, on sports, Sean Strickland and UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya do not like each other at all. The bad blood between them is one of the main reasons that he was chosen to face Adesanya at UFC 239 next week after a Dricos du Plessis pulled out. Strickland dislikes Adesanya for wearing nail pants, matching anime, and in his opinion, being an overall unreliable person. Adesanya, for his path, takes every opportunity he gets to stick off Strickland. He recently announced that he will face the American while wearing nail pants, and in an interview, the Kiwi has revealed how difficult he thinks Strickland will be as an opponent. In an interview, Israel Adesanya was asked how difficult an opponent he thinks Sean Strickland would be. Adesanya said he doesn't think Tarzan will be difficult to beat. He felt that after his harrowing losses against Pereira, Strickland would not be that much of a challenge, but he points out that he cannot afford to make mistakes. With that sports story from Adesanya, from the middleweights of the UFC, we've come to the end of today's world news. Before we go, some headlines. Suspend planned 2-day warning strike. FG begs Labour. Sanwo-Olu takes first ride as Lagos Blue Line Rail takes operation today. Ogun LG boss regains freedom from DSS custody. Stop posting core members to Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara. NYSC security agencies showing no concern. Abducted core member father speaks out. And on sports, I fear no man. Adesanya warns Strickland. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is BGI TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. Good evening.